We're told we live in a democracy. Every few years we vote for the leaders we hope will make our life better. And for many, that's where democracy begins and ends. But lately, I've been asking myself, is that really enough? Because when you think about it, most of our daily lives aren't shaped by politicians or policies. They're shaped by the places where we work and the businesses we rely on. And in those spaces, democracy is often nowhere to be found. It wasn't always this way in the UK. There was a time when trade unions gave workers a real voice in their workplaces. They fought for better wages, safer conditions, and a seat at the table. It wasn't perfect. There was still tension between workers and employers, but it gave people some power over their lives. Today, much of that has been eroded. Generations have grown up without knowing what it feels like to have real collective power. And maybe that's why we accept a system where decisions about our jobs, our pay, and even our futures are made by a handful of people at the top. People we'll never meet, let alone vote for. And yet the decisions that affect our lives the most, the ones that shape our jobs, our communities, and our futures, are made in spaces where democracy is entirely absent. When we think about democracy, we often focus on voting and politics, but democracy isn't just about casting a ballot every few years. It's about having a say in decisions that affect our lives. And where do these decisions happen most often? In our workplaces. Yet workplaces are some of the least democratic spaces we have. Think about it. Do you get to decide how your company spends its profits? Or how your working conditions are set? Even your job security is decided by someone far removed from your everyday life. This wasn't always the case. Trade unions once gave workers a collective voice, a way to push back against inequality and demand fairness. But over time, that power has been dismantled, and now many of us accept a system where businesses run for profit, not for people, as if it's the only way things can be. But what if there was another way? What if democracy didn't stop at the ballot box, but extended into the spaces where we spend most of our time? That's exactly what cooperatives offer. In a cooperative, it's one member, one vote, not one share, one vote. It's a system where everyone has a say, not just the people at the top. And the profits? They're not siphoned off to shareholders or hidden in offshore accounts. They're reinvested in the business, or shared amongst the workers, or used to benefit the community. Take Mondragon, for example. This federation of cooperatives in Spain started with just a priest and 6 other workers trying to rebuild after war and poverty. Today, it's one of the largest corporations in Spain, employing tens of thousands of people. In just 40 years, they were able to transform their community. It's not perfect, but it shows what's possible when people work together democratically. And it's not just about the workplace. Imagine what our communities would look like if we embraced these principles. Families closer together, sharing the burdens of housing and childcare, local businesses run by the people who work there, creating jobs and serving real community needs. In a cooperative community, the wealth stays local. Instead of profits leaving the area or ending up in tax havens, they're reinvested in schools, healthcare, and infrastructure. Housing co-ops could make homes affordable. Worker-owned businesses could provide stability and fairness. This isn't just a dream. Models like this already exist around the world. They're not without challenges, but they offer a glimpse of what's possible when we put people before profit. So do we live in a true democracy? If democracy means having a say in the decisions that shape our lives, then maybe we've been looking in the wrong place. We've been taught to see democracy as something that happens in Parliament or in the ballot box. But the truth is, real democracy happens closer to home, in our workplaces, in our communities, and in the way we work together to shape our future. Cooperatives aren't just an alternative business model, they're a way to bring democracy back into our daily lives. They're a way to stop waiting for politicians to fix things and start creating change for ourselves. I'm not saying this is going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. Because when we take control of our workplaces and our resources, we don't just create better businesses, we create a better society.